Hey, welcome to the Pretty Well podcast. If you're aging faster than you expected, feeling tired, inflamed, or achy, and dealing with shifts in hormones, weight, sharpness, and energy, you are going to love it here. This is where we cut through the noise and focus on root cause solutions that actually change how you look, how you feel, and how you live. Each week, we explore the science, the strategies, and the small shifts that create real lasting change without the overwhelm. The mission of Pretty Well is simple. Every episode, one powerful shift. Live it, change your life. I'm your host, Lisa Smith. Let's dive in. Hey, welcome back to the Pretty Well podcast. I'm Lisa Smith, and today we are in our second episode in the series Biology of Belief. Last week, we talked about emotional safety, regulation, especially in light of self-trust. Very practical, tangible things to do that helps to build that self-trust and to improve that feeling of being emotionally safe and regulated. I want to start this episode a little differently because after last week's episode, I noticed something unexpected. It wasn't a major epiphany, but it was a definite shift. The day after I recorded the episode, I was eating a meal at the kitchen table, and I realized again that I wasn't really chewing my food. I was speed eating like I so often do, which makes me feel like I'm part Labrador Retriever sometimes because I literally inhale my food. And this is something I have tried to change for years. Every functional health practitioner knows that chewing matters. It's the first step of digestion. It's gut health 101. And I know it. I teach it. And yet I rush through meals. I swallow bites before they're even halfway chewed. And it's been like this for as long as I can remember. So instead of doing my normal self-talk, which does not promote emotional safety or self-trust, and that self-talk normally sounds something like, there you go again. Why won't you chew your food? Let's slow down, chew your food. And that has never worked for me. So this time I did something a little different. I sat with the why. What is behind this knee-jerk behavior of when I sit down to eat, I have to hurry through my meal? Why is eating something I have to rush through? Why am I hurrying when there's no reason to rush? And what I found surprised me. It wasn't discipline. It wasn't habits or knowing better. It was about safety. Deep emotional safety. And don't get me wrong, cognitively, I know I'm safe. I feel safe. In my mind, all is well. My life is stable. My environment is supportive. But at a deeper level, back in the limbic system where the amygdala lives, that's back in our reptilian brain, my body didn't believe it. My mind believed it, but my body didn't believe it. So let's touch on that for just a second. Your limbic system is a part of your brain that includes your amygdala, where you store emotion, safety, memory, threat detection, and survival. It drives your fight or flight response. And here's where it gets interesting. It doesn't rely on logic whatsoever. It learns from experience. All the logic in the world will not touch it. It takes our past experiences and puts them in predictable patterns, kind of like a spreadsheet or a matrix. And it does that so that it can evaluate the present and future experiences against the pictures it's already made, the pattern it's already made. And then it compares what's happening in your life right now with the matrix it created. And then it decides, based on past experience, are you safe? So you can know you're safe, completely get it in your mind, but in your body, you're still bracing. Once I saw that, something shifted. I no longer had to force myself to chew. I focused on letting my body feel safe while I was eating. I actually made a yellow sticky note and I wrote safe on it and put it at my kitchen table. That's all I said, one word, safe. And that one little reminder paired with actually slowing down changed everything. Something I've been trying to change for years now had the permission to slow down. For the first time, chewing slowly actually felt natural and not forced. I didn't have to make myself do it. It was because my body finally accepted that it was safe and it no longer felt like it had to rush. I'm sharing that because I hope that episode stirred something similar inside of you too. Not more things for you to fix, not more things to put on your to-do list, but I hope it opened up some curiosity inside of you about why your body does what it does. We can get pretty frustrated with our bodies and with our habits because we think we're falling behind. But once we realize there's a reason for it and it is perfectly logical from your somatic sense, which just means your body experience sense, once we realize that it makes sense, then we can give our body grace and we can seek to understand and be curious. And that's when we sometimes see the needle move on something that we have tried for years to make progress in. Last week, we talked about belief being a signal from our biology, from our body, not a mindset, but actually a signal that your nervous system is constantly reading what's happening in your environment and determining whether or not you're safe based on your past experiences. This is why we can know what to do and do everything right from a nutrition standpoint, supplement standpoint, sleep, stress management, working on past trauma. We can know all those things and be working on them, doing all the right things, but our body can still feel like it's bracing and not letting its guard down. Long before your consciousness ever registers, is this safe or not? Is this person safe or not? Am I comfortable in it or not? Your body, it has already decided whether or not you're safe. You know this. You've walked into a room and cognitively known that you are completely safe, but something doesn't feel right. Your gut is off or you feel like you're on pins and needles. There's something going on that your body's telling you. I think sometimes we group that into anxiety, like, oh, I'm socially anxious or whatever. But when you're with comfortable people, are you? It opens the door for curiosity. It opens the door to learn more about yourself. And that springboards into today's conversation, which is where we take the conversation deeper. Not more to do, just inward to the words you say to yourself, the thoughts you rehearse over and over again, and the emotions that give those thoughts power. I want to start with the work from Dr. Masaru Emoto. I briefly mentioned in the last episode, his work with water was completely fascinating and fun. It's also controversial. There are people who say it was bogus, and I want to state that clearly up front. But what Dr. Emoto did is he exposed water to different words and emotions and intentions. So he would speak things, he would play music, he would have different emotions revealed as he was speaking to this water. And then he would freeze those different segments and see how the crystalline structures within the ice were affected by these words, emotions, and music. The words he exposed the water to were things like love, gratitude, peace, joy. The crystalline structures that came from those life-giving words are magnificent. Just look up Dr. Masaru Emoto's water experiment, and you will see a chart, and they're so beautiful. They look like these intricate snowflakes. Every word has a different structure, but each one is symmetrical and gorgeous and has a beautiful center, and that has all these intricate Things also exposed water to words like hate, fear, and heavy metal music in addition to that. The crystalline structures that resulted from those were distorted and chaotic. They never formed a crystal that looked like a gorgeous snowflake or anything like that. They were ugly and distorted. Now, as I mentioned, there were replication issues. There was observer bias in the scientific study. There were scientific limitations. So we're not saying this is settled science. And we don't even have to, because that's not the point. What really matters in this study is a question that medicine often avoids. Even functional medicine, we dial in so many things really well, but we tend to miss this one piece. And in my experience, this piece is the game changer. And that's this. How do thoughts, emotions, and intentions influence our biology? We know they do. So how do they? And that's where Emoto's work becomes inspiring. Because regardless of whether or not we believe that this can be done over and over again and that water forms these structures based on these frequencies, regardless of where you land in your opinion on Dr. Emoto's work, we know that the words, thoughts, and intentions we say to ourselves affects our entire being, not metaphorically, not symbolically, but biologically and physiologically. And once we start asking that question, then we begin to see evidence of it. So Emoto's work wasn't really about water. Water was just the vehicle. It was just the medium. Emoto's work was about the response. Water doesn't understand words. Water doesn't have intention. But what his experience showed was, how does our body respond to information? And what does that do to your life and to my life? You know in your mind that when you have stinking thinking types of thoughts, that you're not doing anything good for yourself. You know that. And you also know that they're not true. When you say, I'm so stupid, you know you're not stupid. But your body takes that on and it's constantly coding what you mean. Every word, every phrase, every insult, every emotional tone. It's taking it, it's interpreting it as instruction. Your subconscious is always listening. And the job of your subconscious is to do what you're telling it. So if you say, I'm so stupid, I'm such an idiot, I always mess this up. The job of your subconscious is to make you right. It's to make you right. It's to provide more evidence that backs up what you're saying. That's how you start to affect your own reality. So whether it's safety, threat, expansion in your life, contraction, from a functional medicine standpoint, your body is listening, and those thoughts and words are biochemical signals. They regulate cortisol or not regulate cortisol. They impact your blood pressure, your immunity, gut health, inflammation, even the expression of your genes. You've heard the expression, genetics load the gun and epigenetics pull the trigger. Epigenetics, those habits and lifestyle factors, turn those genes on and off. So it can turn on and off good genes or genes that could be problematic. But your thoughts also have a massive impact on that genetic expression. This isn't actually mindset work. It sounds like mindset work. This is systems biology. And here's the shift that changes everything. Shaping your future for good or bad, it's not what you think one time. You know, we all have those times where we're like, I cannot believe I spilled coffee on a white shirt again. Oh my gosh, I'm so clumsy. It's not that if it happens once in a while. It's what your system rehearses over and over again. I'll never measure up. I'm not good enough. I'm always behind. I'm looking so old. I hate how I look in the mirror. My clothes don't fit. I'm getting too fat. Those kinds of thoughts that we think over and over again. But that's not even the full picture. Repetition isn't the only thing that programs your subconscious. Emotion does too. So a thought without an emotion barely registers. But when you look in the mirror and you say something unkind to yourself like, I look so old, I look so ugly, that is not without emotion. We all know we get a pit in our stomach, it may go up to our throat, and it feels bad. That thought without emotion, that gets encoded. That goes into the software and gets stored, and it affects and shapes your life, how you live it, and whether or not it's the life you want. This is because your emotions live in that limbic system. They live where the amygdala is. And the limbic system, it doesn't care about logic. It doesn't even register logic. It cares about feeling, and that's its fuel. That's what it goes on. And that's also the part of your brain that teaches your body whether the world is safe or dangerous, whether it's predictable or unpredictable, whether you need to always be on guard or whether you can let your guard down. This is why repeating affirmations over and over again that you don't really feel inside, it doesn't do anything. Your nervous system doesn't respond to language. That's not what it operates on. It responds to past experiences plus memories plus the emotion that went with it. If those emotions were fear, shame, urgency, not being enough, that's what gets registered. That's the signal that your brain encodes into your body, and that's your operating system where you're coming from. Not the words on top. The words are gibberish to your emotional system, to your limbic system. It's the feelings inside that your body and brain are registering that now become the template from where you're operating. And this is the part we tend to miss when we're trying to make changes, use our vision boards to visualize what we want. This is the part most people miss. And that's that your subconscious isn't just programmed by what you repeat. I've made this mistake too, because we're told put a vision board up and look at it every day and envision it. But your subconscious isn't just programmed by what you repeat. Your subconscious is programmed by what you repeat if you have strong emotion and what you feel when you repeat it. This is why intellect alone can't change behavior. Go back to my chewing situation. How many people have I taught the first step of digestion is chewing your food? You've got to break it down mechanically before your stomach can break it down chemically. I have taught this over and over again, but cognition did not change my behavior. I still felt stuck because my body wasn't responding to what my brain knew to do. It was responding to what I had been programmed to expect. And you can take this to anything in your life, any habit that you've been trying to develop that you haven't been successful at. Hear me when I tell you it's not willpower. You're not broken. You're not behind. It's because something in your body is registering that habit as unsafe. So things today that aren't working, there could be thoughts you have that are unkind to yourself. They're damaging. It could be good habits you're trying to start or bad habits you're trying to break. But all of these things started as hypervigilance in your body to keep you alive. So even perfectionism, you learned that at a very young age, that that's what you needed to do in the situation you were in to survive and to get your needs met. Your nervous system won't just drop them because now they don't make sense anymore. They're tools, they're old rusty tools in your toolbox that really need to be ditched. But your nervous system doesn't say, I've outgrown that, so I don't need to do it anymore. That's what your cognition tells you. But your nervous system doesn't. It drops them when it learns that there's another way that's a better way. When you can reestablish a new sense of safety, not force. And it comes from the self-trust and the self-confidence, some of the things we talked about last week that help your body to calm down and relax. So let's talk about your self-talk. Most of our language that's damaging and that's harmful to ourselves, it's not loud. It's not even that obvious. It's subtle. It sounds responsible and reasonable. I'm always behind. I'm not going to get caught up. I never have enough time. I hate this part of my body. You may be thinking those as a way to say, come on, get with it. Let's go. Let's get something new going that's safer and more effective. But your nervous system, it hears all those things as threats. So it responds with tension and protection and bracing. And those things lead to inflammation and health issues. So here's a small step to be curious about this week. Listen to your self-talk and listen to absolutist types of language. Always, never, can't. Don't judge it. Don't criticize or correct it. Just listen for it. And when you hear it, notice the feeling that comes along with it in your body, the physical feeling. You can notice the emotion for sure. The emotion typically is cortisol. It's stress. Like, oh my gosh, like I always do this. I never do this. I can't do that. But also notice where it lands in your body. Is it in your gut, your chest, your throat? Does it start in one area and move? What is happening in your body? That's where the shift begins. Once you start being aware and recognizing it, that's the biggest step to beginning to dismantle those beliefs that you've had that aren't serving you. Beliefs, expectations, and thoughts change your physiology. People changing their beliefs have decreased pain, reduce inflammation, improve healing. There are studies that back all this up, that our belief affects our physiology. Now, that doesn't mean our belief overrides it, doesn't override our biology. It interfaces with it. It works with it. When your beliefs about yourself are negative, that's like having two MVPs on the same team that are fighting each other. But when you get them on the same page, they start to work together. Your body's always listening. Now, I want to take a quick pause. When you get these aha moments, even just listening to an episode like this, it's so helpful to jot them down on paper. And if you're like me, the problem comes when you have little notes written everywhere and you randomly find them when you're looking for something else and you're like, oh yeah, that was really good, but it's not what I'm looking for right now. I'm going to put it somewhere here. And then you lose it again. But physically writing things down helps brain function by improving memory, by downloading things so you don't have to keep recycling thoughts. And it helps with your cognitive processing and reducing emotional stress. Also, the sensory experience of actually writing physically with your hand engages multiple brain functions at the same time. And that does a couple things. It makes new neural pathways in your brain and it improves your creativity. It has also been shown to engage your prefrontal cortex. That is your decision-making part of your brain, which then calms down the amygdala, that limbic brain that we've been talking about today, and it reduces stress in your life. This is exactly why I created a journal that I've been using called the Morning Mindset Journal. 5 minutes in the morning, it helps you put all your thoughts and priorities for the day. I time myself. It takes me 5 minutes in the morning and a few minutes in the evening. When I first made it, I just used it in the morning. And then I realized I needed to wrap up things in the evening with gratitude and self-reflection. So I changed it. If you've been on my email list for a while, we sent you out a new one because I made it massively better after I was using it ongoing for a while. And some other folks were too. I found it to be an amazing part of my day that literally only takes minutes, but it helps me to get the framework down, to get me on the right track each day and to wind down the day. It gives you just enough time and just enough space for your mind and body to breathe. It's free. You'll find the link in the show notes. Check it out if it sounds like something that would help you also to get your best thoughts down on paper, your intention and focus for the day. Now back to what we were talking about. Here's how to work with this gently, not forcefully, in a way that helps your body to feel safe and let your guard down. Catch one recurring thought, just one, and then notice the emotion underneath it. Write it if you want. That's a great way to use the journal. And then just sit with it. Notice it. No fixing, no reframing. Just be present with it. That alone, that's all you have to do. That starts to change that signal. That awareness allows your body to sit and realize it's not under threat. Allows it then to begin to soften and change the signal. And your subconscious comes along and joins you. So to wrap this up, when your words to yourself shift, your emotions shift. The message that you're telling your subconscious, that begins to shift. Then your actions and your biology follows. This is why healing isn't about trying harder. It's about listening differently and talking to yourself differently. It's giving yourself more room to breathe and exist, and your body space to express itself so that you can hear what it's trying to tell you back. So belief isn't just motivational or inspirational. Belief is biology. It's all intertwined together. And once your body gets a new processing system, your brain and your body are now on the same team. When they're on the same team, that's when you really begin to see things start to shift and change. Remember, if you want a simple place to put this practice daily, the Morning Mindset Journal is a great place to do it. It's an amazing container for all this information, and it's a landing place to start and end your day out of safety instead of urgency. Thank you for joining me today for part 2 of the Biology of Belief. Next week, we'll be bringing in part 3. I can't wait to hear your feedback about these episodes, and I'll look forward to coming back and talking with you next week. Until then, stay pretty well. Bye.